Bravo. If you can't find someone to clear out the warehouse before they arrive, I expect you have the survival instinct to do it yourself. Prioritize guns, clean water, anything that can be moved quickly. Ah, stravo, Giovanna. Come. I'll open the wine.
Tiana used to trade her imported smokes for information mixed with good conversation. When I converted the cigarettes into a demon on my back, we swapped vices. I take my seat while Tiana produces a bottle with just the right number of zeros attached to it. She starts me off with a finger's worth.
How much did you make of our last chat again?
Don't pout. You know the rules. You supply the conversation, I supply the wine.
Fine. What do you want to know this time?
Tell me, how is White Street?
You should already know. You've got people out there.
Oh, Giovanna. I do not hire them for their conversational skills. Paint me a picture of it all.
A thought occurs to me at the same time a grin escapes the corner of my mouth.
You're blind. You really don't know.
I see more than you do, Michichu.
It's bleak, with the renewed war effort and red Aether and increased arrests. It's only going to get worse.
It does not take the sight to see that. Eli's become too proud to accept that he's past his prime. White Street will never again reach those heights they once did.
Even with those weapons you had me swipe?
If wars were decided by a few crates of guns, the lowers would be a far less profitable place. His red Aether provides opportunity, and many have watched Eli with a dark fascination.
Like you.
Tiana's smile glints gold in the yellow light of her parlor. I wonder how many of those terrible weapons have suddenly appeared in one of her many warehouses across the lowers. She refills my glass, and we share a drink over chatter, though it's not long before I find a common thread woven within her questioning.
I know I haven't traveled much lately, but I do know more than just White Street. What are you not telling me?
Her manicured finger dances around the rim of her glass, while her silent eyes dangle my own question in the air in front of me like string on a cat's nose.
Ah, you are a good investment, Mishichu. And this information is old anyway.
How generous of you.
Not at all. You're lucky, you know, that you finished your business in White Street when you did. An order went out last night. All able-bodied citizens are to report for draft.
I feel a black glove yank my stomach into my throat. It started like this last time, too.
Those who do not report are to be considered disloyal.
Eli's starting another purge. I need to talk to Cress. You don't seem too cut up about the whole thing. A pained expression contorts her face. She puffs on her cigarette petulantly.
Don't be cruel.
And you knew, didn't you? Before the order even came out. You couldn't have given me a heads up? Even Cress? Or were you too busy?
Do not make me the villain, Giovanna. You were down there. If you didn't see what has been obvious for some time, that is on you.
You know more than you're letting on.
Yes.
Tiana, please. Cress has people down there.
Her narrowed eyes soften.
I know the shooting has already started. I know White Street soldiers are going door to door in the civilian districts. I know that Eli intends this to be his final purge. If Cress has anyone left over there, Now would be the time to get them out.
I think of the Raymond district and tell myself Needles would have run before the first shot. If the Whitecaps are in the civilian districts, it won't be long before they delve into the Undercity. My heart floods into my eyes and ears as I run to the garage to find Cress. Maybe there's still time, too. Deaf and blind, I skid through the door to find her hunched over a table, staring at a radio all gone to static. Cress, I just heard from Tiana. It's Eli.
I know.
She's unfocused, agitated, uneasy. Dust meanders in and out of the void between us. What does she mean? Why is she just standing there?
I have another job for you. Pays well. More than anything you've taken since your uncle died. Do it, and I consider us even. For all of it.
Cress?
It's my sponsor. And me. We need you to go back into White Street.
Look, Cress. I can't stay in the dark about this any longer. I risked my neck over that prison break. I did that for you, not some anonymous backseat driver with cash to blow.
Quit pushing it. When everything is over, I'll tell you what you want to know.
Why all the secrecy? This guy threatening you?
No, it's not like that. You'll understand when you meet him. You can shake the answers out of him then. He's a good man, but right now, people need our help.
She's right. If I'm taking this job, we're on a tight deadline. But I can't stop that uneasy itch from spreading over my whole body. Cress, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Where's the pickup location? If they're too deep in White Street, it'll be near impossible getting to them.
In the civilian district, there's an old theater. From before Eli banned screenings that weren't propaganda reels. The Western.
I map it out in my head. Sounded doable at least. Less impossible than the other parts of White Street during a purge. Low priority area, less security, lots of routes in and out. Who are these people? And why are they on Eli's hit list?
They're disloyal. Aethenias and others. White Street nobodies. They'd be under notice if Eli wasn't cleaning house. His new weapons? Finally ready for war. So he's removing any chance of a two-front fight.
If they're high on his list, he might be sending more firepower than I can handle.
I'm not asking you to take on an army. Just to pick up and run. As fast as you can.
Okay, Cress. We'll get them out.
Come on. We need to be there yesterday. Make sure everything's ready to go. We can't afford to detour.
Smoke rises in the distance.
The Western is over there.
We need to be careful. Stay close.
No. Not again.
Everything is still. A picture of devastation. The smoke, the bodies, the amber light casting shadows on shades of gray.
Nellie, stay here. I'm going to check if anyone's still alive. Cress?
She's already moving, wordlessly racing from body to body, as though there was still time to do anything. The tall man is dead. Or perhaps it isn't a man at all. I can't make out more than tattered overalls and a color that will forever ruin summer sunsets. This city has a saying. We all gotta take the final ferry trip someday. I can't give them much, but maybe I can pay their last fare. I flip his fare. Wherever he is, I hope it's somewhere he's whole again. A young boy, no more than 16. His eyes pale and white. He stares up unendingly into an iron sky. I flip his coin high, following the arc of his final gaze. I lean too close, and the small woman raises a hand to touch mine. It's gentle and weak. Her cold, soft skin conveying too much in a language I could not understand before falling to the ground, speechless. I gently flip her coin, leaving it in her cooling palm. Movement from the epicenter of destruction. My heart squeezes out of every fingertip. I catch my breath and reach for my piece when a voice pierces the quiet.
You. I remember you.
I had expected a smell, something burnt or tinged, but instead, nothing. Just floating dust and ash dancing. Enough lead was poured into the building to cast a solid mold of the place. This was personal, or the fervor of a madman. Shuffled steps echo in a lonely, offbeat march, but it's the breathing, thin and slow, like a whisper carried by the breeze, that tells me she's already dead.
You came.
Her solemn advance is halted by a short wobble and the start of an inevitable fall. Cress's arms catch her before she hits ground.
Maria! Maria, what happened here? Where is...
Eli. He wanted the underground.
No, this wasn't supposed to happen.
You have to stop him.
Cress moves to say something in return. Anything at all. To speak some final words with her friend. Maria doesn't notice. She's become a recording, determined to play back her message one last time.
He's going to...
She panics as urgency spills out the few heartbeats she has left. Cress pulls the body into her arms.
Alex, is he...
I look at the body that was once a tall man with blue overalls. There's barely enough to call it a person, but deep down, I know whose pale eyes died reaching for the sky.
Alex?
I don't know, Maria. I don't...
Cress gives her the only warmth she can. A place to rest her head, and a pair of arms to hold her.
And the baby?
I am heavy. I am the trembling iron ground. I am a warm corpse with no words of comfort.
Baby's all right.
Her final comfort given, Cress closes Maria's eyes and puts her to rest with her husband and friends.
I'm gonna kill him.
Cress, look, I get it. But first, we need to get out of here. We'll come up with a plan later.
I got a plan. It involves taking the bastard out before he kills any more of us.
You're not thinking straight. There's an army between you and him. Eli's got a cannon that can take out a crowd in a single shot. Even if you get to him, how are you getting out?
Let me worry about that. You wanna walk? Fine. The job's over. But I wasn't doing this for money. So unless you're helping, get out of the way.
I could argue all I want. Tell her I was looking out for her. Try to stop her. It wouldn't change a thing. Just make me a hypocrite. I watch her drive off, not knowing if I'd ever see her again. One last fare. I hope you all find each other on the other side. Empty-handed, smoke fading, I start back towards the car and Nellie. I'm still among the wreckage when the air comes alive. White Street engines growl from every angle.
Gia!
I brake for the car, but their headlights rush me, fencing me in. A harsh beam splits the path between me and Nellie. No time to get to the car. Not without us both getting caught.
Nellie, get out of here! But Gia! Drive!
The kid's fighting fresh tears, but she's smart. She takes the wheel. The car lurches down the street like a wounded animal while I throw the Whitecaps as sacrificial lamb. As they pull up, I step into the spotlight.
Well, you showed up after all. A little disappointed, if I'm being honest. I thought the boss behind these traitors would be tougher.
Look, fellas, I don't know who you think I am, but
Save it for the General. He's been wanting to speak to you for a long time. And don't worry about those friends of yours. They'll be joining you soon.
I'm bound and thrown headfirst into the back of a dark lockbox. Muffled voices drift in through rusted steel.
I thought we were looking for a rat. She don't have vermin eyes.
Don't be stupid. Who puts rats in charge?
The door of my prison is thrown open to a blinding light and a company of stoic soldiers.
Move!
The Overlook sits under the crushing shadow of Eli's citadel, surveying the civilian district. Several guards, the general, and a sterile white place setting of fine china and silver contrast the gloom.
On your knees.
If I can just get free of these ropes, I could lose the soldiers down there. The unfeeling steel pulls all the warmth from my body through my knees. If the films about it were true, the Citadel has enough supplies to last a siege 100 years. A silent jury eagerly waits for judgment to come. One look at me and the General's teacup comes down with a decisive clink.
The spirited lieutenant from the gala. Of course. You were foolish to show yourself, but I respect a leader who commands from the front.
yeah, I was at your gala. Someone paid me to sneak in, but it's got nothing to do with any rebellion.
You seem to believe confessing to a lesser crime will spare you. You're wrong.
Look, General, you looking for a rebel leader? You got the wrong woman. I mean, look at me.
The General holds up his gloved hand, gently, commanding silence while pulling me into its gravity. His eyes analyze me sharply before turning to look across the civilian district.
It was many years ago now. I'd watch as my fellow comrades refused to amputate their diseased limbs. It was too much for them. Too terrible to consider losing an arm or leg, thinking it would all get better on its own. I thought those men cowards. I loved them, but thought them short-sighted. But now, I must admit, compassion for them. Understanding.
He turns back to me and lowers his cup, a small clink accenting his words.
I see now that I am guilty of that same cowardice. Every time I removed insurrection, disease from my barony, I feared cutting too far. I hoped you all would see. But today, I make things right.
By burning down theaters?
By burning away all traces of infection that you spread. You've seen the destruction around Santa Anita. Another mistake from cowardice. I attempted peace once. I will not make the same mistake twice. You made clowns out of my intelligence officers stationed at the scrapyard. You disrupted a supply line and destroyed priceless cargo. You and your accomplice sabotaged a night meant to honor good men and women. You even brought a Heights assassin to bear. And while the symptoms of the infection that can be alleviated, traitors can be executed, additional weapons can be manufactured, assassins can be imprisoned. But this little insurrection of yours has proven difficult to cure. Until now.
That's a hell of a list. What makes you so sure I did it?
You made an impression on one of my intelligence officers, Officer Randall Pitt. He suspected something amiss with you and your sister. Upon further investigation, he found irrefutable proof of your illicit dealings. At every one of these incidents, a woman matching your description was at its center.
I don't know any assassin. If you're counting my crimes, at least attribute them correctly.
You would disown your comrade so quickly?
Look, I don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about.
He slams his fist on the table, snarling and puffing out his chest.
He killed 30 of my men during the arrest. 30. He will rot inside a metal box until I send him wrapped in iron back to old New York.
My mouth dries up faster than a snake stuck in the high noon Egyptian sun. A bullet to the back of the head is suddenly a rosy idea next to the risk of a coffin drop. Eli's put together a damning rap sheet. If I want any chance of avoiding the firing squad, I need to break his case fast. Who let an assassin run rampant? Who let a shipment of weapons vanish under their watch? Who let a forged invite and a counterfeit uniform through the front door? Your intelligence officers almost arrested your quartermaster on trumped-up charges. If things had gone down different, you would have executed an old comrade over nothing. A slight tremble causes ripples to flitter across the surface of the General's tea. If your mind's made up, why am I still breathing? You need something, or your men would have shot me on the street.
You asked who deserves blame for my barony's problems. You think I don't know who let the disease in? That I don't know that this starts with me? I've made decisions that have cost me old comrades, friends. the hearts of the people, a chance to live in harmony with... They were decisions I made for the sake of our survival. But perhaps you can help me make things right.
What do you need me for? He pulls out a leather notebook. The last time I saw, it was in the hands of Tobias Dufresne.
My men took this from your assassin. I'm told it suggests how to manipulate the well. Answer me. What are these? The musings of a lunatic. Schemes for a new weapon.
A frigid shiver attacks my flesh from neck to ankle. The answer is a long shot, but it's the only card I have left.
All right. That's research from the heights. The well's expanding. It's growing fast and it's going to get bad. According to those heights scientists, the well's going to take down the whole lowers. Someone's working on a fix, but they need that device.
An unlikely story. But I have no choice but to believe it.
If you've read the journal, you know what kind of risky situation we're in.
You think we don't know the risks? We didn't need some book to tell us. White Street is familiar with Aether's side effects. Headaches, mania, sickness. We discovered as the well grew, the strength of the wasting did also. To combat it, I made us strong again. Once we had united the lowers, we would have led the search for a cure together. But now, a cure has come to us.
Yeah, but it's all fantasy unless you know how to use it. Give me the book. You'll never hear from me again, and I'll throw in fixing the well for free.
You misunderstand. I believe you, but I cannot let you live. You have killed my men, sowed discord at every corner of this barony. No, you cannot live. You are the disease.
He turns to the civilian district, chest out, welcoming a crisp breeze. His guards snap to attention in anticipation for some unknown cruelty.
And I can no longer suffer the limb that gives the disease shelter.
Like a conductor masterfully controlling his orchestra, the general raises his hand. In the distance, blazes begin to erupt all across the civilian district, like fireflies dancing on a mass grave.
With this, White Street will no longer be impeded. We will reclaim all that was once ours and save the lowers. Unfortunately, you will not live to see such a world. But you will have a swift death.
He snaps his fingers, and by speechless command, his guards move forward. I feel a barrel press against the back of my head. I think of Zio Alfonso facing Valentine's gun. Zio believed he could talk his way out of everything. The gun cocks. The fires and the screams and the crumbling buildings feel muted, making way for the bang that never comes. Hissing shrieks fill the air. Every pipe on the roof bursts, flooding the veranda and crashing into White Street's discipline like a wave through a sandcastle.
What's happening?
Get to the general!
Idiots! Back into position, now!
While everyone's scrambling to order, no one hears the scrape of a grate or the emergence of a glowing-eyed specter. In that moment, Cress Carter is every Aether rat horror story. Vengeful, silent, murderous, the harbinger of a brutal ending. Then those pale eyes see me, and the mask splits. I see a Cress on the cusp of her revenge, and a Cress realizing how badly I need her help. She only has time to be won. My soul curls in on itself. Deep down, I know that Cress deserves her revenge as much as I did. I nod towards Eli, head as heavy as a gavel. Instead, she pulls me from the soldiers.
Brace yourself.
Shouts and a shot chase us through the thinning steam to the open grating and into darkness. I nearly bite through my lip, fighting a scream when we hit hard tunnel flooring, but I hold it long enough for Crest to slide the grating back. The ropes are barely off before those glowing pale eyes round on me.
Damn it, Gia! I had him! I was close! I had him! What the hell happened? I leave you alone for 5 minutes, and your damn client's throttling your car and screaming about how you've been arrested. If she hadn't drove full speed in the wrong direction, she would have run into a full squad of whitecaps instead of me. What in the hell are you—
They jumped me at the pickup after you left. They were looking for some rebel group. Cress, you're not the leader they're looking for, are you?
No, I'm—
Our time's cut short by a mob of boots pounding the tunnel walls. We gotta move. Where's Nellie?
keeping the car warm. Be ready to take over. Driving really isn't something you should ever let her do again.
I'd seen how many soldiers Eli had. I'd seen how set he was on my execution. Ready or not, we weren't getting out of White Street without a fight.
Damn fool. I would have given you a kinder hand, but you forced my hand. To save White Street, I must forsake leniency.
You don't know a damn thing about leniency.
Another Aether rant. If you give up your co-conspirators, I'll spare Samuel Lowe from questioning.
I'll kill you first.
Going soft, General?
Damn, tyrant. fought your last battle, old man.
No! He removed the power limiter!
What's that mean?
It's releasing an astronomical amount of energy and overheating the engine. He's hurting himself every time he uses that cannon.
Then all we gotta do is outlast him.
cannon any longer. He'll...
Better him than us.
Losing Aether pressure.
Half the car is gone, vaporized into nothing. What remains of the weapon, the journal of research, and the blood-stained tyrant lies unrecognizable, twisted within a tangle of aether and iron.
He deserved worse.
I know, but we can't stick around. We gotta get out of White Street. A barren seat going empty never ends with peace. Eli's death is going to set the lowers on fire.
There's no ticker tape or cheering crowd waiting for us back at the hole. Only quiet shadows and an escape from a corner of the world turned upside down. Cress slips away, leaving me and Nellie under a cloud of uncertainty.
Oh, Gia, I'm so glad you're alive. I didn't want you to die.
The kid is barely out of the car before her arms are around my neck and she buries her head in my coat. A somber mumble creeps out from under the silent tears and rough leather.
If Eli is no longer in charge, what happens to White Street? I know elections aren't common down here, but surely there must be some kind of succession plan.
I gently disengage from the kid.
Nothing pleasant. Lower's barons usually stay in charge until they're bumped off. Only a few stick around long enough to think about passing it on. Fewer actually do. The general had a chain of command, but no official successor. Knowing White Street, their leadership will fight it out, if the other baronies don't move in on them first.
But they don't... The war won't keep going, will it?
White Street's been fighting ever since Eli created it. Even if there's soldiers who want out, doubt the big guys on top would allow a ceasefire.
Oh.
Can't stop them all, kid. Just remember, they might be fighting each other, but they don't have Eli's weapon anymore.
It's not much consolation, but it's enough to stoke a dying spark into a hopeful little flame.
That's right. I checked the weapon myself. Its core components were damaged beyond repair, so the chances of anyone using it again should be impossible. More importantly, it made me realize something. All my calculations about the well, I think they've been off.
You missed something.
No! Maybe. I hadn't considered red Aether. It was banned, and it's terribly inefficient. So much of the energy just spilling out. But if I adjust my numbers to match that cannon...
The gears are already back to work, filling Nellie's head with something other than a blown-out theater, dead friends, and smoldering islands. I hear a clatter from the garage, and wonder if Cress is trying to do the same. I should check on her. I find Cress back under her junker. She usually handles it with a steady hand and a rhythmic bang of tools. Right now, the wrench moves a step too quick, jerking the car into the occasional convulsing shake.
Buzz off, Gia. I'm busy.
Sure you should be working right now?
What else should I be doing? Having a drink? So what if Eli's dead? I can't celebrate. I messed up, and people are dead.
You didn't pull the trigger. You didn't kill those people.
I got them involved. I made them a target. I never should have let them help with the escape. We both know you don't beat barons by playing fair. But what difference does it make? All those tyrants need is to snap their fingers, and everyone you love is gone.
Cress, I know what you're thinking, but you can't go there.
That's the problem. I wasn't thinking. I should have grabbed them sooner. Asked Iron Hand for help. I should have left you out of it. They were gonna shoot you, and it would have been my fault. I dragged you into this whole mess.
She fights with something deep under the car. I eye the lift for the rusted junker nervously as it gives a warning groan. It echoes in the garage like a crack before an avalanche. I grab a spare creeper and roll under the car beside Cress. Her eyes remain fixed to some rusty bolt, but as the creaking of the jack becomes distant, her shoulders loosen.
Hand me that wrench. The one to your left. The bolts, too.
I grab her what she needs, and she continues to work, seemingly on nothing.
I never told you how I got out of my contract.
You threatened to break my jaw for asking too many personal questions when we first met, remember?
A snort, the first crack of joy on a bleak day, before silence swallowed it back up. I look over at Cress, a new look filling her eyes, and reach over, taking her hand in mine. It's grimy and sweaty and overheated, but it seems like the only thing I could do.
2 barons were fighting. No relation to White Street. Just another pair of tyrants playing tug-of-war over our island. They fought for a whole year. Banners and contract terms changed every few months. Nothing new, until those bastards decided to hit the generators. Topsiders ran. We stayed. Our contracts don't give us a choice. And the Terriers locked the doors. Who cares if rats die or get hurt, as long as the rest of you keep flying?
She runs a thumb along the curve of her metal wrist, eyes distant.
When an island begins to fall, it starts with a terrible metal screaming. You can't yell. You can't hear yourself. Then the generators fail, and everything is quiet. It's a terrible quiet. Worse than the screaming.
She pauses and rolls out from under the car. I follow. Without the massive weight above us, we breathe in unison. You're not useless, Cress. The whole island was falling. What could you do?
The whole island was falling because it was my station. It was me, what I couldn't do. After that, every shift changed. Every missed quota, every job I couldn't finish. The looks I got because I was half a person. I was dead weight. They were just too nice to say it.
No warring barony should have left their generators unguarded. Even the hull goes out of its way to protect theirs.
They did, but no defense is perfect. Like at the tomb. Be stubborn enough and everything's got a weak spot. Ours was several layers of iron getting blasted over and over until something gave.
But the generator turned back on.
I tried everything.
She shrugs her shoulder and holds up her metal arm in the dim light.
Finally, it started working again.
And that got you out of your contract.
No, that was my parents. I had 40 years left, plus another 10 for letting the generators fail. My parents didn't want me dying like that. Stuck in some iron coffin as it fell to the ground. Iron Hand found a loophole in my contract. With us changing hands so often during the war, someone that got sloppy. Left in something that would allow me to transfer my years to family.
And that's how you landed in the hole in the underground.
Eventually, the hole needed a mechanic. Didn't matter what color the eyes were. The underground came later, and they didn't care either. They just wanted people willing to fight to change the world. But I messed that up too. I couldn't help Alex and Maria, or anyone else in the theater. So yeah, I can't fix a damn thing.
So what, you planning on staying down here forever?
Got any better ideas?
It's not all on you. You still got people. We still need you. And not just because you're a crackshot mechanic.
Yeah.
We've been through it, but we can move forward. Together.
I'll think about it, maybe. But anyway, I'm not what you should be most worried about. You killed a Baron today.
I didn't do anything. Eli blew himself up.
That's not what people saw. You took him on, and then he blew up. People aren't gonna look any further than that.
Her words hit the mark. I could shoot up goons all day and it wouldn't scare off a single good job. But someone who mattered? Killing Valentine had turned me from reliable to bloodthirsty killer. Killing a Baron would make me a rabid dog in need of being put down. I pulled myself up after Valentine. I'll figure something out.
You need more than that.
Yeah, I'm dry on favors, and Mr. Blanc doesn't work with liabilities.
Just meet me at the lighthouse. I might have something for you.
Smoke and shadows fill a room of maps, radios, and pneumatic tubes. But in the jumble of business, everything still points to a single figure coolly leaning against the far wall.
You wanted to know who my sponsor is? Gia, I'd like to introduce you to the underground.
The figure steps forward, tall and confident, his voice pouring through the haze like a steady stream of olive oil from a broken cask.
Name's Apollo Diamond. And darling, we have a lot to talk about.
In the comics, the cops always have photos of the dastardly perps they're chasing pinned to a corkboard. Here, the hunters aren't lawmen, and the targets aren't slab-jawed gangsters with names like Jimmy the Shark. They're the actual barons of our own city. Radio consoles sporting complex buttons, dials, and wires indicate the underground spent some serious coin on communications. Makes sense a secret rebel faction would have lines of clandestine contact throughout the city. Radio consoles sporting complex